Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakah Kadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. This is news and prophecy coming at you. This may seem light in comparison to what's going on, but yeah, it holds weight in a conversation of the time that we're in. All right, being the end. Okay, the end of the world as you know it. So this is an article that I come across on the Independent, right? And the title reads: Indians must be very angry. Trump condemns plans to rename sports teams as political correctness. All right, he's basically saying that it's part of PC culture, which I'm guessing him as a conservative or Republican, someone of the right, doesn't conform to. All right, because it's more leaning towards a liberal form of a liberal political view. Liberal meaning, leftist or democratic or Labour, as we call it out here in the UK. All right. So anyway, reading on, it says President reportedly views white grievances as a key to his re-election. All right, and that's how he got elected in the first place. He played into the disgruntled so-called white people that dealt with the 8 years under Obama administration. All right, so that's how he capitalized on their disgruntledness, their anger to get him into the White House. So anyway, the article reads: Donald Trump has slammed efforts to rename prominent sports teams amid nationwide Black Lives Matter protests sparked by the death of George Floyd. Now, if you know anything about this BLM, Black Lives Matter, it's basically a vehicle, an organization being utilized by the Democrats, the left, all right, the opposing side, basically, to Trump, who are trying to usurp their way into government. Okay, so that's why he's so against this as well. You have George Soros basically funding it and basically working his magic in the background, and he kind of knows that, or Trump's aware of this, and that's why he feels the way he feels. Right? So suggesting Indians must be very angry over plans to rename the Washington Redskins and Cleveland Indians. All right? He's saying that the so-called Native American Indians, which we understand according to the prophecy of the Bible, is the Gadites, one of the sons of Israel. All right? He's saying they must be angry that they're gonna lose the name Redskins or Indians. All right? Which are names that that was placed upon them as a disrespectful way, a disrespect, okay, by the so-called white man who came over to their land, stole it, and killed them, and made it, basically done all manner of evil. Okay, he's saying they'll be upset about that. Anyway, reading on, the president wrote in a tweet on Monday, they named teams out of strength, not weakness. But now the Washington Redskins and Cleveland Indians, two fabled sports franchises, look like they're going to be changing their names. Changing their names in order to be politically correct. He also attacked Elizabeth Warren, who he has previously dubbed Pocahontas, a nickname with racial connotations. Wow, that he gave. And if you know anything about Pocahontas as well, she was basically more or less a sellout. Okay? And she wound up moving over to Europe and settling down in Spain, I believe. Alright? Or the UK, somewhere in Europe. That he gave her after the Massachusetts senator said she had Native American ancestry. See, and this goes into prophecy I'm gonna speak on. Mr. Trump wrote, Indians like Elizabeth Warren must be very angry right now. All right, movement of demonstration and even that kind of behavior plays into what I'm saying as well. The government and demonstrations calling for the racial justice sparked a debate in which sponsors of the NFL and Major League Baseball, including Nike and FedEx, demanded changes to controversial team names. All right. So both teams have said that they would consider overhauling their identities, with Cleveland Indians saying in a statement, and they got a coonery, like a what's it called, a minstrel, ain't so-called American Indian as their logo. The recent unrest um, in our community and our country has only underscored the need for us to keep improving as an organization on issues of social justice. The statement continued with that in mind, we are committed to engaging our community and appropriate stockholders to determine the best path forward with regarding our team name. Mr. Trump, who reportedly views white grievance as a key to securing his re-election, has seen plummeting approval ratings amid nationwide protests and continued coronavirus pandemic, which has killed at least 130,000 Americans since the outbreak um, began in March. The president is continued to seemingly amplify racism. The Washington Post reportedly tweeting videos of his supporters showing white power and hurling uh, incendiary insults about protesters on Twitter. His frequent decisions to weigh in on everything from toppling of statues representing Confederate leaders to the renaming of sports teams has reportedly unnerved the president's Republic allies on Capitol Hill. All right. So with that said, I'm going to move to this point now. All right. So this is sorry. It's lucky. It's Genesis 49 and 19. God, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Now, when you read the first verse, it basically speaks on the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, Jacob, who got his name changed to Israel, speaking to them, telling them what shall befall upon them in the last days. Okay? And this was something that's going to happen to Gad. And that's how we know we're in the last days, because Gad, ironically enough, was gonna be overcame by what? By a troop. Okay? Kind of showing you that, he that lives by the sword shall die by the sword, but not to the greater extent that it was to be, okay? Because that really applies to Esau, Edom, and really anyone that takes up the sword. But God done it in righteousness, because that is a Noman, because he's the warrior of the tribes of Israel, all right? But the point being, it's ironic that the son of Israel that was named Troop would fall to a troop. But then it says that he overcome at the loss, all right? Because he has to basically fulfill righteousness in that, repaying this man for all the wickedness that he did, okay? But this also plays into the part with all these things happening that shows you that as well. I mean, what shows us signs of the times is the fact that in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, it speaks of us being a proverb and a byword, and a proverb and a byword. And there's one last point, proverb or byword 40. I'll read it very quickly just so I can harp on the point. That's it. Verse 37, Deuteronomy 28:37. Now shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations whither the Lord shall send thee. And now I want to harp on this word byword. Okay, I got the word here in the Hebrew, right there. So the word there for byword is shana shana yana shana yana. All right, shana yana. Basically meaning sharp word, sharp cutting word, taunt or jib. Right, and if you go to the root word there is shana, which means to sharpen or wet. But the point being is that it's a taunt or jib. All right. Now, this is the thing. When you go to these remarks that Trump made, basically they're jibs. Okay. He's calling Elizabeth Warren, who claims to be a Gaddite, whether she is or not, I'm not too aware. But he took a jib at her. He taunted her by calling her Pocahontas. All right. And then even saying Indians like Elizabeth Warren must be very angry right now. That's a taunt or a jib. All right. And saying that there's strength in those names of